How are you doing today?
I'm really well, thank you.
So I'm going to start by saying I absolutely effing loved this movie.
Oh, great!
And
I'm
sure,
so pleased.
I'm
so
sure,
pleased.
But I'm sure you're hearing this from everyone.
It's had a really nice response so far, which is great. I mean, it's been a lot of work. I've spent most of 5 years on it, and the relief that it seems to be able to touch an audience is an enormous one. It's been lovely.
Now, the one thing I wanted to address was I had heard some rumblings that on the set that you had some issues with Paddington acting a little bit more like Ted when the camera was not rolling.
Yeah, I mean, he's a polite and well-mannered bear, but at the same time, you know, it's his first time in front of the cameras, and I think it went a little to his head. The catering was awkward. He wanted to poison test everyone's meal, which was a tricky situation. You know, we had to have marmalade-flavoured drinks and tea, and I like marmalade. It's a nice thing. Sales are through the roof, which is great. But after a while, you just go, I had a marmalade sandwich for lunch, I had one for breakfast, it's afternoon tea. Maybe we could try a jam, and Paddington gets cross, and before you know it, there's claw marks over the walls, and you know, he's kicking off a little, but he's calmed down now, and he's a lovely bear to work with.
I actually was thinking to myself, what it would be if Ted and Paddington could do a scene together.
Yeah, well, hopefully Paddington could teach him some manners, because, you know, Ted's got a good heart, but I think he's, you know, he's a little far out there. And to be honest, I'm disappointed with Seth MacFarlane for not being a better parent to him. He's clearly, you shouldn't leave your kids with that man.
I completely get it. One of the things I think that one of the strengths of the film is the way that no scene, the editing is really well done. No scene lasts too long.
No.
It's sort of like, you know, it's like a pendulum, it swings, and all of a sudden on the right moment, it just cuts to the next scene.
Oh, great.
Talk a little bit about the editing challenge of bringing this together, and what did you maybe learn from friends and family screenings?
I mean, I suppose we learnt a lot. It was just trying to keep the story moving at the right speed, like you say, that you don't get too tired, and that you try to find a sort of slightly surprising way through it. I mean, and just try to find nice little ideas to kind of to keep it fresh. But you know, when we were showing things, it's really difficult to do early screenings with the bear, because he's a big character to kind of create, and so there was a certain amount of kind of, you know, you sort of have to guess from rough storyboards and stuff, so it was tricky, but we just wanted something that moved fast and was fun and you know, kept people entertained.
You had a rehearsal process with your actors and went for a few weeks.
Yes.
What do you think was the big thing that came out of that rehearsal process that helped with their dynamic?
Well, I think the main focus of that was Hugh and Sally, who play Mr. and Mrs. Brown, was to get their relationship really firing, because we wanted Paddington to come into a family which is a loving family, but one that's slightly on edge. You know, when a sort of couple of sort of slightly just kind of not quite in the groove with each other, and so trying to find the level of kind of tetchiness there, which was sort of still loving and still very fond, but a little, you know, they need a little help to kind of get their marriage back on track, and so that we did a lot of improvisation there. And Hugh and Sally are two of the funniest improvisers in the world. They're absolutely great comedians as well as being great actors and brilliant writers, and so we really worked a lot on their scenes, and we also worked a lot with kind of. It's a little tricky to work for an actor who wasn't there. Obviously, Paddington was in his trailer quite a lot.
Of course.
And so, you know, when he wasn't on set, because he was having a nap or eating, they had to kind of act to something that wasn't there. And so we did a lot of work with a physical comedian and another actor who really helped them sort of keep the scenes fresh and alive, because the last thing you want to do is make it feel really sort of lethargic and sort of awkward and phony. So we just sort of tried to keep it really flexible. So on the set, we'd keep improvising and keep it feeling fresh and keep changing things so that they didn't get too stuck in a rut.
I gotta go. But real quick, I just wanted to know, if they ask you to do a sequel, is it something you jump back into, or?
I've really enjoyed doing this one, so I would love to do another one. So I just hope we can find a big enough audience to get to do another one.
I'm confident. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Didn't it do really well in the UK?
It has done insanely well in the UK.
Right,
It's Lego Movie.
Yeah.